What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the internet where your cesspool is my jacuzzi. So I have never talked about this case before, and I've gotten messages from people already who are just like, I don't know about this one. It seems too crazy. So I'm just going to preface this by saying this is basically, we're just hanging out for like half an hour or something tonight. I'm not going to be on here for very long. I'm only going to cover a small little part of this because honestly, I just don't have time for it all tonight. And I am, entering into all this with an open mind. And I'm not trying to, draw any conclusions based on the little bit that I'm going to look at here. So I do not know any more than you do if you're watching this. I don't. So we're just going to see how this goes. Just kind of like finding my footing here. And then I'm going to do a longer stream where I talk more about it later on in the week. I just can't do it tonight. I'm just so tired. Fancy pants. I need this. I've watched so many of Tug and Megan streams and I still have no idea what the backstory is. So I catch bits and pieces, but the thing is, like, I'm always so busy that I don't have time to catch everything. And so I too am like missing a lot of information. But I do listen here and there. But mostly what I know about this is that George and Jeremy, I think are their names, Hales moved to Florida a couple of years ago, and they are treasure hunters. They hunt for treasure in storage units, which sign me up for that. That sounds kind of cool. I don't know too much about the other side here. And to be honest, most of what I've heard is about the lawyer. I don't know the guy, never talked to him, never talked about him. I may not even talk about him tonight, really. I don't know, because I'm only doing a little bit here. I'm going to watch a little bit of DUI guys TLDR with you guys. I am trusting that Larry is not an asshole and he will not sue me for $150,000 like another lawyer who will not be named on this stream. But and then also I have a couple articles by Megan Fox, and she gave me express permission to read them in their entirety. And also Megan and Tug are live right now, so I'm going to redirect you guys to them when we're done here. So this will be a short one. We'll just get into it a little bit. But as far as like my opinions on like the mental health, aspect and all that stuff, you might not get much of that tonight because we're not going to dive into this too much. I'm just gonna go through a couple of quick things and then we'll figure it all out later on. Okay. Thank you, Ariane. I'm doing a little better. Hey, Goosebump, what's up? Thanks everyone for being here. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so we're gonna watch a little of this. We're not gonna watch the whole thing, and then we'll get into reading some. But he did this like TLDR thing, which was good. I have watched most of it at this point, but I have not seen some of it.
Their fans, I guess, as they go about their wonderful, wonderful, wonderful videos.
Okay, so he was just talking about Jeremy and George.
Oh my goodness, their content is insane. It's amazing. However, no good deed goes unpunished, right? As they go about their treasure hunting, digging up dinosaur.
Can you guys hear that? Just making sure you can hear the sound, because sometimes I have a little audio hiccup. Sending good vibes that no one sues you for 150K. Yeah, thanks. Yes, you can hear it. Okay, good.
Bones, looking for treasures, finding ancient artifacts. They bought a plot of land in Levy County of 70 plus acres, and one of their fans, I guess, I don't know how to describe them. They're stalkers. This is the only way I can describe them. They have been following the Hales for a while. This is Lynette and Mr. Crook.
So that's, it sounds a little creepy. Again, I don't know a lot of the backstory here, so not going to draw any super hard conclusions here tonight. I just want to hear what he has to say and then read what Megan has to say. And maybe at some point I would have, and I don't know if this will change or not, like shown some of what the other side has to say and their side of the story. However, they did strike one of Megan's videos, I think, or maybe multiple of Megan's videos, and that was, done improperly. That shouldn't have happened. And so the downside to behaving like that and the downside to abusing the copyright system like that is that I and others who enter this with an open mind are not going to feel comfortable sharing their side and sharing their content for fear of them acting out against us. So there's always a downside to that kind of behavior, guys. You might, and I'm not talking to you guys specifically, but like you might, get one up on someone you don't like, but it's going to hurt you in the long run because it's going to hurt other people's, impressions of how you, deal with things. All right.
Mr. Cook. See, I'm picking up on the linguistics. I think his name is John. So the husband and wife with their 4-year-old child, who apparently has a very debilitating disease, they take them away from civilization to a city of population 100 and move there. Across the street, they buy a property that is completely run down, being literally uninhabitable, and they move across from the Hales and they start.
Oh, that's weird. That's pretty weird. So a town of 100, holy crap. First of all, that is very small. And then also, you guys know, I've said this a million times, I live in Florida, so this is like not too far from me. So when Megan texted me about, this case or something, I was like, oh yeah, maybe, I can go check that out at some point. So that's why I'm just kind of trying to start understanding what's happening here. But I am not even 1% of the way there. So
start begging for money. Give us money. Give us money. Because George and Jeremy are philanthropists. They give money away, right? They give money away to people, the causes they believe in. So these people are like, hey, we can mooch off of them. Gimme, 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 gimme. Okay? And they're like, no, 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 no. They made one mistake, I think. They gave the little girl 2 iPads, I believe. And that is like, when I heard that, I was like, oh no, you got yourself in deep, man. Like you can't give free stuff to freeloaders because
oh man, that sucks though, because like good people, like you want to make people happy, and like the little kid, they just want to make him happy, so they give him the iPad. I'm assuming that's what happened there, and like that again, assuming big assumptions. I don't know. I'm not really, I shouldn't speak on their behalf, but that's my assumption. And it sucks when you like want to be nice and give people things, and then some people just really take advantage of that. But I don't know what happened here, so let's keep listening.
It's gonna happen. They're gonna want more, and that's exactly what happened. They said, give me more, give me more, give me more, to the point where they have posted signs, defamatory signs around their property saying, you know what, Hales, if you're not going to give us what we want, we're going to destroy your reputation with lies and smearing, etc. They posted signs alleging that Jeremy SA'd or R'd their 4-year-old daughter.
What?
And they post these signs all over the property. At that point, this
yo, hold on. First of all, so assuming this is true, and I feel like the UI guy is a credible source. Assuming this is true, first of all, why the fuck would you post up signs about that? Like, if that even happened, like, assuming it did happen, which I don't think it did, but operating on the like scenario, like a make-believe scenario where this actually did happen, why would you put signs up around your property and shit like that? Like, because your kid is going to grow up one day, and if she did experience that, which again, I don't have any reason to believe that actually happened, but if she did experience that, like, how is she going to feel when she grows up and sees all this shit? Like, that's just terrible. But like I said, I don't know the whole story here, so we're just going to keep on listening.
This is May, June, July of last year of 2023. Jeremy and George say, you know what? Enough is enough. We need court intervention. So they seek out an injunction against them. They presumably will be filing a defamation lawsuit against Lynette and Mr. Cook. And now, the moment they do that, Lynette runs to the courthouse and says, wait, I want an injunction too,
And I really want to read these injunctions on stream, but I have to ask Megan, like, where she gets documents, or if anybody knows a place where I can go to, like, follow along with this and, like, get all the documents, then just let me know, please. You can email it to me. My email address is in my X bio, or you can, it's right here. I'm going to put it in the comments right here. And this is just a YouTube email. So if you message me some weird personal stuff, I'm probably not going to read it. So, you know, I mean, I get nice messages from people sometimes, and that's fine. But I'm just saying, if you message me, you know, like non-YouTube related stuff, or talking to me about random stuff, and I don't know you, I'm probably not going to open that. Megan and Tug have all the docs. Yeah, I'll have to ask her about it. I just can't tonight. I don't have the energy because I'm still sick. All right.
Oh, because if they're gonna do it, I want to do it too. She's basically copycat everything. You move to Levy County, Florida. I want to move to Levy County, Florida. You give out money. I want money. You're going to court. I'm going to court. It has literally become a copy and paste, copycat behavior. Okay. So in September, October, November, December, there are 2 hearings last year, maybe even 3 hearings, I believe, last year that culminated in December 29th hearing, or December 6th. Sorry, my dates are already running amok in my head because I started watching the courtroom footage, and I was like, is this Venezuela? This is not the United States of America. This is not an American courtroom. Judge Craig DeThomas's in Levy County, Florida, it should be a judge in a Venezuelan courtroom, or in Peru or Nicaragua or Zimbabwe, because the way he's running his courtroom is not in line with American First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, 10th Amendment principles, period. So here we go.
And I'm going to get into Megan's articles that talk a little bit about the judge too, or talk a lot about the judge actually. But I have not watched the court footage, just FYI. I know he includes some clips here. I'm not going to watch all that tonight, but I know he's also been, I think they're trying to, or they have sued him now for like over his thumbnails or something, I think, which is just, okay, dude, just say you say you're caught with your pants down. You know, you don't have to make a show out of it. Like that's one way to tell everybody that you're going to lose, is like to do something ridiculous. Like, well, I'm going to get, one last shot in or something like that. So that's how I feel about that. The hearing's definitely unhinged. Yeah, I'll have to watch them. But like I said, I have not done all that. So I'm going to continue to preface everything that I'm saying with like, I don't know the whole story, because I don't want anyone to come out and be like, well, Lauren said this and that's not true, and blah, blah, blah. Well, it might not be true, but that's because I don't know yet. So
here's what happens in court, okay? There are 2 court systems involved. You have the Ohio system and you have the Florida system. So Florida system, Jeremy and George ask for a protective order against Lynette and her husband, and the court system says no. Well, Jeremy and George also have property in Ohio, so they're called domiciliaries. To be a domiciliary means to be a resident. This is a legal term. They're domiciliaries of Ohio. So they go to Ohio and they say, here are the facts. And the judge goes, oh my God, that is the most terrifying thing I've ever heard of. Here's your injunction. Here is your protective order. Here, and that applies across the board to all 50 states.
Okay, so and I've said this before, but and I can't obviously speak for all places or whatever, but I feel like here, at least where I live in Florida, it's harder to get an injunction like that. I feel like it's weird because a lot of like legit stuff I feel like gets dismissed, and a lot of really like petty stuff that never should be signed off on by a judge, that gets approved. And I'm just kind of like, what is happening here? So like I read all this paperwork when patients come in and stuff, because they send copies of injunctions, or they send copies of what do you call it, the ex partes and stuff like that. There's just all kinds of legal paperwork with patients when they come from jail, or when they come from like a facility, an assisted living facility, and they want us to have all that information, know all what's going on with them. So it's just crazy. A goosebump. I'm not in Levy County. No, I'm not. And I say Levy. I don't know if that's correct. It might be Levy. I don't know.
Matter where they go. Florida refuses to enforce the Ohio order, and Judge DeThomas and his lackeys. And now there's been violations of this protective order. So now we're going to see how this unfolds, because this is going to be unfolding in real time. Now, let me take you back Watch this. Watch what happened at the last hearing. Okay, let me just give you a quick little preview. Judge the Thomases made a violation of the First Amendment rights of Jeremy and George Hale by saying you are not permitted to post anything publicly. He basically instituted a unconstitutional gag order. Here's what he says about that.
But this is Florida, dude. This is like this is like one of the capitals of "but my rights," people. Like, come on. How did the judge think this was going to fly? I'm pretty sure that judge was removed. But
in addition to your co-counsel, in violation of the Supreme Court Administrative Order, SCAO 11-222, and in violation of AOSC 11-22, and in violation of our Chief Judge's Administrative Order 1.14, version 2. Despite that, he requested and obtained unredacted copies of the 1129 and 12-6 proceedings.
So let me just pause right there. He's basically saying that Jeremy and his counsel, or his lawyer and his co-counsel, obtained an unredacted video from the courtroom, which is what you're seeing right now. This is the January 23rd hearing, and he's talking about the December 6th and November 29th hearings that happened last year. He's basically saying, I told you not to get public records, and you got public records.
I don't know how the judge thought that was going to fly. I mean, these are the times we're living in. Like, this videos and all of this stuff is going to come out on YouTube, and it's going to come out in various media. Like, this is just, you got to get with the times, bro. Just like Commissioner Duty, get with it or get out. So, just popping in to say hi. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you, BS. Appreciate you. Is she native Floridian? Do you mean me? I am. I've lived in Florida, and I've lived in Arizona, and I've lived in New York. But I'm from here. I don't know about these people, though.
Are you listening to this? I'm a licensed practicing attorney. I'm willing to put my bar license on the line to say what he's doing is unconstitutional.
And is now answering to contempt charges from the chief judge, since it's his administrative order.
Answering to contempt charges in violation of the dissemination of public information that is publicly available and can be shown to the public. He's not allowed to show it to the public.
So that's ridiculous. And we're going to stop there with that because I'm going to go into some of Megan's article that we'll read. But if you guys want to watch the rest of the UI guys video on this, I'll put the link right here in chat. 1 second. Oh, you meant Lynette. I have no idea. I have no idea. I know little to nothing about a lot of these people. So just kind of trying to figure it all out. All right, here you go. Wow, this is like lore inception here. I'm sorry. I did not mean to do that. Okay. So this is one of Megan's articles on PJ Media. Also, just to plug, PJ Media is having a Black Friday sale on membership. So I'm going to put that in the chat here as well, if you guys want to do that. It's just pjmedia.com, but I'll put the link in here anyways. Okay. So Jeremy and George Hales have a very large YouTube channel with over 500,000 subscribers called What the Hales. The channel focuses mainly on buying abandoned storage units and selling the contents for profit. The Hales family became so successful at it that they began a philanthropic effort to give back to those around them, sometimes buying abandoned storage units to return the contents to the owner. The Hales family is well loved by their audience and community. At least they were until they bought property in Levy County, Florida. Let me zoom in on this a little bit, guys, so you can see it better. Okay. What happened after that, the Hales say, involves being stalked and harassed by neighbors at gunpoint, defamed with posted signs all over their town alleging heinous crimes against children, and more. When Jeremy filed for a protective order against his female neighbor, the state of Florida wouldn't give him one. So Jeremy filed in his home state of Ohio, where a judge took the matter seriously and immediately granted the protective order. But the neighbor problem didn't go away. The neighbor then filed a protective order against Jeremy, which Judge Craig DeThomas temporarily granted. The injunction against Jeremy included an overbroad restriction of prior restraint on his free speech, ordering him not to talk about his neighbor on his YouTube channel. If anyone uses his neighbor's name on his channel or causes his neighbor to be contacted, the judge says Jeremy can go to jail. That is bullshit. I mean, sorry, that's just irritating. Like, in what world is that okay? I'm trying to think if I've ever seen anything like that before. And I don't think I have. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to move my head real quick. Oh my god. There we go. All right. This puts journalists in an interesting position. If I reach out to the neighbor for her side of the story, a judge can jail Jeremy. In essence, a judge in Florida is restricting the right of the press to get to the heart of a story through threats of removing the liberty of the subject of the story. Regardless of the matters of fact between the neighbors, the real issue has become Judge Craig DeThomas, who treats his courtroom like a star chamber. He has repeatedly chastised and berated Jeremy and his attorneys. He has refused to turn over public hearing recordings, claiming that they are private and can't be disseminated. He has refused to recuse himself 2 times and is now facing a 3rd motion to recuse. Okay, so this is giving Laura Owens wanting to call the police on people for accessing public documents related to her cases with the victims that preceded Clayton Echard. But, you know, from a judge, that's pretty crazy. Goosebump 801, buckle up, it gets worse. Oh man, I know we're just getting started tonight. I'm not. I'm prepared for it to get weirder, but all right. One of the worst things this judge has done to Jeremy and his girlfriend is to restrict Jeremy's movements on his own property without hearing the facts of the case. It has been months since the neighbor filed the protection order and no evidentiary hearing has been held. Jeremy cannot drive on his public road because it abuts the neighbor's property, and he must stay 500 feet away from her property at all times. Further, he cannot use a large portion of his own front yard because of the injunction. That's fucked, dude. Worse, his Second Amendment rights have been removed with no evidentiary hearing to decide if he is actually a threat. Meanwhile, he says he's been threatened by the neighbor and her associates with all manner of bodily harm. He is also prohibited from hiring security due to the injunction, as he cannot be around anyone with guns. Well, I didn't realize that's like it went that far. You can't have security. Like, I did not realize things would go that far. Like, wow. Larry Foreman, the DUI guy who we were just watching, a lawyer with a YouTube channel, and I went over the recent motion to dismiss the judge on a stream yesterday. Foreman has a recap of the events leading up to this situation and the video below. This will be an important and interesting case to watch. And guys, I will put links to the video that we just watched some of, and I will put links to the articles that we're going to read in the description after I'm done with this stream. I just forgot to do it. Okay. Can a judge show aggression and hostility towards a respondent in his court because the respondent is a YouTuber and the judge doesn't like public attention and stay on the case? The law says no. Will he follow it? So far, he hasn't, and doesn't look like he will suddenly reform. And then here's a link to or like an embed of the DUI guy's video. Jeremy's evidentiary hearing is finally scheduled for March 1st, but DeThomas has put restrictions on his witnesses who don't appear to be on the plaintiff's witnesses list, which raises serious questions about how the trial can possibly be called fair. What? Huh. The judge has also forced the removal of one of Jeremy's lawyers due to the judge's naked hostility towards the lawyer, which is written in black and white all over his court orders. It's one of the worst cases of black robitis I've seen in some years. I have never heard that term. What is that? Let me find out. Black robitis is a term used to describe a judge who lets their own self-importance cloud their judgment. Okay. Gotcha. The Thomasist truly believes he is the law and that everything he says becomes the law, even though his job is only to listen and interpret the law. Instead, De Thomasis spends inordinate amount of times in every hearing listening to the sound of his own voice, complaining about YouTube, Jeremy's attorneys, and anything else he can think of to avoid hearing the evidence. Teresa S. It's maddening. Oh man. Well, you're further along in this than me, so. All right. When Foreman began covering this story, his law firm received a hostile phone call, which some close to this story believe could be connected to the court system in Levy County. The individual said he is planning on filing a bar complaint against Foreman for covering this case. What? Retaliation against media trying to cover a public hearing creates a chilling effect on free speech. What is going on in that court? The American public should want to know. No matter who's telling the truth in this case, the Constitution demands that an accused person has a right to face his accuser in public. This means in the open, free from censorship, gag orders, and unconstitutional assaults on free speech. Judge De Thomasis might not like what the Hales or Jeremy's speech, but he must, like the rest of us, tolerate it and restrain himself from favoring one side over the other. Voice crack. Wow. Sorry. A judge is supposed to avoid even the appearance of bias, which De Thomasis has failed at spectacularly. He is clearly not fit to adjudicate this case and should not only recuse himself, but should be removed from the bench. To catch up on the details of this case, watch Foreman's interview with the Hales family here. And then that takes us to a longer video. So again, you can go to the link to this article and you can click on all these links that are in here. And there's Megan's bio down there. But if you're watching this video, we all know who Megan is. So, and then here's the second article where Judge Grudge De Thomasis booted from What the Hales case by Appellate Court. Amberski, Flowers and Stitches, WTF. Which part? Which part? Right. Florida Judge Craig De Thomasis, who has earned the nickname Judge Grudge online, has been booted off a high-profile case against YouTuber Jeremy Hales of What the Hales fame. The appellate court in Florida found cause to remove De Thomasis for bias after he removed Hales' constitutional rights, including his right to protect himself with guns for almost a year without having an evidentiary hearing where Hales could have proved he was the victim of a false claim. Hales, who runs a YouTube channel with over 700,000 subscribers and makes videos of treasure hunting and storage units, was hit with a retaliatory protective order by his neighbor, Lynette Preston, after Hales got a protective order against her and her living companion, John Cook, for stalking and harassment in Ohio. Okay, so we're going to skip this paragraph here because we kind of read all that in the other article. But okay. Among other indignities, De Thomasis often spoke over Hales' counsel, refused to let Hales present his case, threatened his lawyers with contempt, sorry, and accused them of misleading the court. Gave Preston, who was self-represented for a time, legal advice, argued on behalf of Preston, wasted the litigant's time repeating the entire case history multiple times for no reason. What? Blamed Hales for the constant delays in the case when all but one was caused by Preston and the judge, and attempted to make new case law to take away Hales' First Amendment rights to report on his case publicly using a novel cyberbullying law that didn't apply to Hales. It was truly a sight to behold. You can watch my coverage of those hearings on a YouTube playlist here, so I'm definitely going to have to go through those, but not tonight because I'm so tired. I'm sure you can tell because I'm like falling asleep right now. Hales' attorneys, Randy, I don't know how to say these names, guys. I'm going to butcher this. Randy Shockett, and Doreen Incolas. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to say these names. I will get it right next time. Wrote 3 motions to recuse De Thomasis for bias that he denied vociferously, even going so far as to refute their arguments with verbose, multi-page orders. Finally, Hales' attorneys wrote a writ of prohibition and sent it to the First District Court of Appeals to review De Thomas's actions in the case and asked the higher court to remove him. And remove him they did. Finally, after months of waiting, the appellate court removed De Thomasis for illegal and biased judicial actions, writing, "This court grants Hales' request and issues the writ, finding that he has demonstrated a sufficient basis for disqualification in possibly his second, but certainly his third motion." Like I said, I want to go through all those documents, guys, but I don't have them tonight. So, it's my thought process here is kind of weird because it's like, how could this judge ever think that this would fly in Florida? But then also, of course, this was the judge in Florida. I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings about living here, but I'm not in this county, thank God. So, all right. The court explained that a writ of prohibition is necessary to restrain the unlawful exercise of judicial functions when no other adequate remedy is afforded by law. The Thomases is a bad judge, and he should be removed from the bench entirely after his actions in this case. There could be complaints coming soon to the Judicial Oversight Board, as Hales is not the only litigant in De Thomas's court who has been treated terribly because of personal grudges the judge holds. In the coming weeks, I'll be covering another case, Gosney v. Griffith. I haven't heard of that one either, so I got to read on that, where De Thomas's behaved equally aggressively towards Shachet, and that's one of the lawyers. I'm sorry, I'm saying that name wrong. Who was also the lawyer in that case. A judge who takes out his dislike of an attorney on his clients should not be a judge. Hales told PJ Media that he is relieved after the ruling and hopes to get his rights back in front of a fair judge. While we rejoice in this personal victory, we are deeply saddened that the average man and woman would not be able to afford the $100,000 plus in legal fees to achieve justice in our country, said Hales. We agonize over how many lives Judge Craig De Thomasis has already destroyed because they couldn't afford to fight his blatant corruption. He must be removed permanently from the bench. Hales will have to go in front of a new judge assigned to the case and start all over again. So this is kind of interestingly, like this is kind of in line with what I was saying earlier about the Laura Owens case that I've been covering. Like people in positions of privilege or people with money, people who have connections or are in positions of power, like they weaponize the court system against people who they know those people can't fight back. And so in this case, like these guys could, but for every person that can, there's like probably like 5 or 6 who can't, you know? And that's a random, that's probably not an accurate statistic. That's just a random guess, a totally random guess. There's probably a lot more who can't. Let's put it that way. So there's, you know, somebody like Mike Miracini or Greg Gillespie on the other end who, you know, they can't afford to fight that forever. And at some point, you just have to kind of give up. I mean, like I said, I can't speak for anyone else, but I would imagine if I were on the other end of that, it would be very disheartening and I would want to just like let it go. But that sucks because obviously that has impacts on your personal rights and freedoms. And then also how other people view you, especially when you're trying to get jobs and stuff like that. So I think it's a really shitty way to abuse people using the court like that. So, and like I said, I don't know the full story here. I'm just kind of getting into this for the first time. So there's a lot I don't know. But I'm just commenting on like what I'm seeing right now and how that makes me feel. And then, you know, of course I will read both sides and see where I feel from there. So, okay. I don't know if Teresa sometimes jokes, so I'm not sure if Teresa's being serious or not. Lynette raises money under the guise it's for the adopted daughter, but the daughter lives in a shed and pees in a bucket. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is like based in reality at all because Teresa just says funny stuff sometimes, so I'm not positive. Oh, she's serious. Oh, that's okay. So that and the signs on the property, those are the two red flags for me where I'm like, I'm curious as to whether or not there's like some mental health stuff going on here. But that's obviously not something I can tell by what we're covering right now. So it's something I'm gonna have to dive into a little bit more later. Teresa's absolutely correct. Gotcha. Hey, Drunkest Turtle, how you doing? All right, let's read the little bit of this we have left. De Thomasis has been added to my wall of recusals, resignations, and removals that I've been keeping over the years. When bad judges, attorneys, and guardians ad litem, I said that wrong, I think, resign in disgrace or are removed in cases I cover. You can see a compilation of Judge Grudge's bad behavior and legal opinions on it in that montage below. Good riddance. And then there's a link to her video here. Like I said, I'll put the link to the article where you can like click play on this in the description of this stream. Watch Megan's stream where she builds Turtle Village of Legos. Oh man. All right. So like I said, we were just kind of hanging out here for a little bit tonight. I'm so tired because I had to work all day and I still have some school stuff I have to do before I go to bed. So thanks for sitting here with me and helping me start to work through some of this and what it's all about. I have a lot to learn here, clearly, and I still have, not read any of the stuff from the other side or anything like that. But I'm interested, obviously, to hear more about it. So I'm gonna redirect you guys over to Tug and Megan. Please tell them that Lauren sent you and spam them with bacon emojis, but not in like a harassing way, in like a nice, fun way. Like, here's some bacon, not like eat this bacon or else. You know what I mean? All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I'll add those links to the description now, and I'll catch you guys either tomorrow or the next night. I will post information on X and on YouTube community page as always. Bye, guys. Appreciate it.